Wayne, Chinese New Year, pretty much the country closed, but we get bank lending figures over the week. What's it going to tell us?
Well, it's a parting shot before the country goes on holiday. We'll get a last glimpse of how the recovery is shaping up. And even though I know you've been accusing me of becoming bullish on China, this is where we're going to see a little bit of the problem in the recovery, is that most of it's led by government spending. The bank lending numbers should show that bank lending is still falling. Banks are still reluctant to lend. They're still constrained by lending policies. And that means that a lot of the government money that's coming into the economy and that's single-handedly driving the recovery is not getting churned back and recycled back into new loans and new growth and new investment.
That's quite worrying, right? So where is all this growth coming from in China?
From government investment, from property investment, from the same things that causes the problems in the first place. We've just sort of moved this problem down the road, and it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So the risks are getting larger. That doesn't mean we're going to see a recession in China or chaos in China or a hard landing in China, but it does mean the problems for Beijing get bigger and bigger, and they have to figure out other ways to dismantle those problems.
Outside of China, we have consumer sentiment surveys pretty much across the region: Indonesia, Australia, and Japan, which has not been the most optimistic place for consumers.
Japan's a big one to watch here because, again, the government's been talking a lot about trying to reflate the economy. And really the big hang-up in the economy there is that consumers just don't buy that yet. They've spent 20 years being bearish, and that's a hard habit to break. So they're still behaving as though their spending power is going down, even though the government is promising that they're going to start putting inflation in the economy. Their wages have been falling. And even though company earnings are rising on a cheaper yen, until those earnings start getting passed into higher wages and spending power in Japan, consumers aren't going to believe that the economy is getting better yet.
So Abenomics not really creeping into sentiment. What about into GDP numbers, which were also out during the week? Is Japan coming out of recession?
No, that's going to make it even worse for consumers. They're going to see the numbers. They're going to feel the pain in the economy. It's going to probably confirm that Japan is still in a recession. It's going to take some months for anything that the new government does in Japan to filter through, or the Bank of Japan to filter into actual growth economically. And so I expect that this quarter we're going to see another negative figure. Japan will be in recession, further in recession, and consumer sentiment will reflect that too.
Okay, give me a guesstimate of when we'll start to see change in Japan around the economy. Second quarter this year?
I would say probably second half, actually, to see real traction in that. I mean, and again, it's still a guessing game. We have to see what companies do with the money they're earning overseas and how that filters into the real economy domestically.
Wayne Arnold, thanks very much.